Contemporary artists in South Africa have adopted new media technologies to produce varied and creative bodies of work. Their art gives insight into the pressing issues of South African society. On a global scale, contemporary South African art is relevant and sought after. This next artist's work stays true to who she is. Esther Mahlangu puts color to Ndebele culture, making her art so unique that the rest of the world just have to have a piece of it. Welcome, Africa, to this week's episode of Bophelong. Thank you for joining us. Let's take a journey to Mpumalanga to meet Mama Esther Mahlangu.
The Ndebele people are well known for their artistic talents, especially with regards to their painted houses and colorful beadwork. For over 100 years, the Ndebeles have decorated the outside of their homes with intriguing designs. The earlier patterns are believed to have sacred powers, to have been made in response to demands from ancestors.
Nginostokana uEsther Mahlangu. Esekha kwami ke leso. Singaba khweli indaba isinyavani abanye bakhwela abayicalile. Udumo semlembeleli owalembelele ekatsheni. Nanzo.
The beauty of color and pattern is always a fascinating force which can easily touch and inspire our spirits. Esther Mahlangu is a South African Ndebele artist. She's known for her bold, large-scale contemporary paintings that reference her Ndebele heritage.
Ngakuthoma kade khulu ngisemncane nginesumi leminyaka ngine-10 years. Abogogo nabagwalako nobumama nabagwalako. Bagwale bathi nabayokuphumula. Mina ngijimeke ngiye ngine-10 years angithi sasingakhamba isikole kwethina ngijimeke ngiye ke ngifike ngenze ngizibuke ngithi hey ngiyakwazi yong.
As a little girl staying at a farm in Middelburg, Esther had nothing else to do as her family could not afford taking her to school.
But umntwana lo fanele ukhambe uyogwala ngesibuyeni ngale ngesibuyeni uyogwala lapho uyokufunda lapho hayi la. Ngafunda ngesibuyeni banondo basiza abazokhwela banondo bathi hey kwanje khona hlana sakho sibarehe kwanje khona ungeza ngemathurini ngize ngene ngemathurini kwale ngemathurini hayi badayi kwanje khona ungakwale ehodlweni hayi kwanje hlana sakho sesirehe sesirehe hlana sakho uyamde sibe nje.
Esther, as the firstborn child, was expected to see to it that the house looked presentable, because both her mother and grandmother were farm workers.
Ngathoma lapho ke awa sengagwala kenge ngikulise ni. Ngayanakho nomalo bekade agwala godu abumbe nabantu ngaphandle lapho.
This was passed on from one generation to the next. Back then there were no paints. One would wonder how Esther did this.
Lokho wakusagwalwa ngehlabathi enjwa phasi. Evangwa nobulongwe. Imhlobo leyike nje. Eyivangwa ngobulongwe. Obovu unebhlegana layo lodwa. Ocheli unebhlegana lalo lodwa. Omhlophe unebhlegana nobovu nonzima njalo yabona. Thela amanzi faka ubulongwe uyahlanganisa. Ebese ke uthatha isiba lakho.
Esther knew that she wanted to be known for her paintings and unique patterns and designs.
Kusukela lapha ngithi kenge ngisakulisa. Kwaba sengqondweni kimi toti bengendra. Yabona? Solo kusengqondweni toti bengendra. Nondo ngigwala ngenza njani toti bengendra ngagwala necathani lami. Awa vele nje kwaba into esegazini vele.
After getting married, it is Ndebele tradition to design patterns and paint your own house as a Ndebele bride.
Ngafike ngakha ngagwala. Bona ngigwale bakha ubuchabelo museum eMiddelburg. Beza kweza ikhwala khona la khamba liqala lapha ugwale khona ikhweli bakhetha mina bathi no sifuna uyosigwalela umzakho lo ebuchabelo eMiddelburg. Yangizwisisa ngasuka ke ngaya ke eMiddelburg ke bangithatha ngaye eMiddelburg ke bathi uze nabafazi abathathu ngeza nabafazi abathathu saye eMiddelburg sayogwala kuphi ebuchabelo emuseum.
Her journey of doing what she loves and making a living from it then began.
Walile lapha isikhathi eside kwafika ama-France avela phetsheya bakhambe bathatha izithombe konke lapha gwalweko kwaNdebele lapha nakwaDlawulale nemaplasini bathatha izithombe zabo yozicala zokwenzalo bona bazicale bakhetha indlu esingakiyo le amagwala khona bathi kufunekala umama lo wangapha ekada gwala lapha simfuna akhambe aye ngaphetsheya. Babuya makhwalaya beFrance aba bafika lapha abantwana safika lapha safunyana umfazi angapha ngekho kanti uhlalaphi bathi usebuchabele emuseum eMiddelburg bayidosa baye eMiddelburg mina ngazi ka ngitsho nabafika le siyabalothisa kuba mnari bathi sifuna Esther Mahlangu ngathi Esther Mahlangu ngini bado bayemthwale nabo beza nesithombe bafaka isithombe sebanginikela bathula bangitshela next banginikela isithombe sabayathula God hayi nina isithombe simsinge kwami la.
Who knew that just by practicing her customs, Esther would be recognized and headhunted by international designers?
Women such as Me Esther Mahlangu make you really proud to be a part of this colorful continent. After their break, we'll look at how Esther's work crossed borders, going all the way to France, making her the first African woman to take part in the BMW art car collection.
The road to greatness is not an easy one. It's rough, tough, and full of barriers. And there's only one way to master it. Never, ever stop. Dauntless, the all-new Audi Q7.
It is important for everyone to know food safety practices and make sure that their food is prepared safely from farm to the plate.
Who ensures that there's compliance?
In terms of all the abattoirs, they have to be registered. So when they are being registered, they are actually audited fully to make sure that the structural requirements as well as the hygiene requirements are met.
Most bacteria and viruses cannot withstand the normal cooking temperatures that we use to cook our food.
The bigger retailers cannot be seen as being insensitive to the food safety requirements.
There are many consumers that actually go shopping with a cooler box and ice packs so that they don't break the cold chain, because a few hours outside the temperature that it should be already shortens the shelf life of that product.
Join me on Health Talk every Saturday morning between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. as we unpack current health stories.
Welcome back to the show with me, Bule Mulebatsi. Exposure to new cultures, countries, material, and technique has brought about new reasoning behind Mahlangu's work, although she has personally remained unchanged by her rising prominence within the art world. Take a look.
Esther Mahlangu is recorded as the first Ndebele woman to go overseas. She has never been to school a day in her life, yet she has taught at international universities.
Ngafundisana abantwana beItaly ukugwala base-university. Ngabuya ke ngeze ekhaya ngabuyela ngayobanikela intificate. Banikela intificate ngabuya ngeze ekhaya. Ngikhambe indawo ezinengikhulu nekhaya pha ke ngagwala ento kanjeni bathi se isikolo saka opera le ebathi sikuphi isikolo sika opera se Vrynagen dasrat hey mara ngiyazikhothi indawo eVrynagen ngagwala isikolo sika opera ngaphakathi ngasigwala ngikhambe nabantu bami ke labona nizukulwane ezengazifundisa kwezi.
Esther never dreamed of going overseas but found herself being begged to travel there because of her exceptional work.
Ukufika ekhaya yong Elias Petrus bobabili ngithinga mathutha nami batsho kufanele ngiyogwala ngaphetsheya wena ngaphetsheya hayi mawukezwa kuhle.
The tourists were very much fascinated by Esther's work, but they had to convince her to fly overseas as she had never been there before.
Thatha ithombe wena ungekho. Hayi kwakho kodwa ni konke lapha kugwale khona. KwaNdebele lapha konke njaya nakwaDlawulale nemaplasini sithethe sayozicala ephume phambili mzakho lo mbere kwakho. Manje beFrance bathi sokutshela abanyana batsho mde ukhuphuke uthinge eFrance yogwala eFrance. eFrance kukuphi ngaphetsheya kwelwandle. Ha ngathi yong ngaphetsheya kwelwandle ukhamba isikhathi sikangani bathi awana ukhwele namhlanje yokufika kusasa eFrance. Ngani ngeairplane yesiphapha mthini ngikhwele namhlanje yofika kusasa ha angithi bengakacabangi ngingakatshetshi mina wona wazokutsho njalo.
Her two sons, not believing that their own mother was the best painter and chosen to go overseas, tried to make sure that this was not a scam.
Ngaphetsheya kwelwandle bathi hayi awukezwa kuhle. Ngithi hayi ngizwile ke bakunikela incwajana ngithi banginikele iphi ke siyibona sengikhupheke ngibanikeleke abantwana bayivuleke bayicala manje baza kubonani bakugwala isifrance lapha baza kubonani angithi abakhulumi njengebekhethu apha bona bonjour bokomatalifu merci beaucoup.
After confirming what was written on the letter, she prepared her passport and visa to go overseas.
Awake sengithambeke vele ngikhweleke sikhambeke dala ngikhwele nabanye abazi asisi Afrikaans nozo sixoxa ngesi-Afrikaans ke njalo bese ayakufika ke ngakusasokho sayakufika ePorto sehlika ke bona sihlike ke balandela ngemva njengoba nabachiwile ngilayithi umgodle epuphu ngomaster angithi bangitshele bathi batsho France batsho akunakudla akunapuphu batsho protoboto layithi umgodle epuphu nemirogo amkonke yini ngizilayithile into yeso awa ke sifike sihlika lapha ya ngibalandele baya kuphi baya ngevuleni lelijikako la eliphethe impahla nami ngiyabalandela bese ukuphundlukela ngapho abasifunyana ke ziyajika ke ngapha ngaphandle lapha eMahalasini kunomunye unandafet ngica banengi msabantu kodwa lalaset ngaqala ngakhona kwasala ngithi athi ngithi angozokuthatha mina abangene angene volumnyango angene awake sothisane njalo ke awake aguge suitcase ami ke aguge nomgodlami wepupu ke nemirohana leyo nokunye ngikupeteko awake phuma esikhambe.
But before teaching students overseas, Esther taught her own children and grandchildren this side.
Uyagwala nangena nje uyagwala nange. Uyagwala lapha isithombe sangeseMerika lesi. Uyagwala lapha. Angigwala naye vele. Angithi ngabafundisa mina abantu abamama. Ngabafundisa bonke nenzukulwane ziyakwazi zonke.
Her granddaughter Miriam also got to travel with her as she is now also a pro Ndebele painter.
Dala khulu kokathomela usifundisa umgwalo vele ngwasekhaya wathoma ngabo baba wasuka kubo baba uza yithi inzukulane thina sathoma kudala lapha kubo 1990 masafunda ama standard asesephasi safunda mara zange kube lula nande sifunda sichapha asikhalimele akwenziwa nje angiyifuni irula yenzani kuhle nande sizana ndesidosha wadosha kubethe buye good funda sathoma sisabona ke nje hayi senza sesibambile nje siphethe nathi siyenza nathi soyidlulisela phambili abantwaneni bethu ingafi ihlala ikhona njalo.
Proud and keeping her heritage going, Esther Mahlangu became a world-renowned painter by just doing her wife duties of painting her own home.
We continue with Mama Esther's story right after this. Welcome back to the show right here on SABC News. Whenever she is not touring or exhibiting overseas, she stays at home, walking around the house barefoot, tending her small patch of maize and keeping busy with what she loves the most, painting and teaching local girls about Ndebele culture and art. She has recently been awarded a Lifetime Achievement Award at the 2015 South African Traditional Music Awards for her work. Let's take a look.
One would ask where all these patterns and designs come from. Esther Mahlangu, renowned for her indigenous art pieces, has a very simple answer for that.
Asengqondweni lapha ngathathela kuphi ke wokhokha ngithi kade benza amakhuphu ngehlabathi evangwa nobulongwe ngiqala ukuthi benza njani ngabamba lapho ngabamba beze kweza kimi ke lokho kokangana mpende kwakuzindhlabathi todi kweze kwazi ukungena empendeni ke kwaba ama design ke la amanyela ngwami amanyela ngwabogogo.
So uyathi ukuthi ama design lawa avela kuwe.
Yeah.
Owathomileko.
La wathomile la amanye ngwabokhokho.
Traveling the world was the last thing from Esther's mind, but after traveling across the continent, Gok Esther wants to extend her already existing museum at her house.
Ngaphetheya ngigwale eFrance apho ngizakubala konke mina lapha ngikhambe khona. France, Angoulême, Bordeaux, eBordeaux khona eFrance ngagwala indlu yami ngayifunyana nje ngibani nje. Ngagwala yona eFrance. Ngabuya ngayagwala eAngoulême ngagwala umuseum. Ngabuya ngayagwala eBordeaux ngagwala iCaravan. Ngabuya ngayogwala eNantes. Ngabuya ngaya eJapan. Ngagwala eJapan. Ngaphakathi kwalapha benzela khona amachila efactory yamachila. Ngabuya ngayagwala eAmerica eWashington DC. Ngabuya ngayagwala eNew York. EWashington DC ngayakufundisa abantwana ukuphothela. Yawatenyele ngiyakhona euniversity. Ngayagwala eNew York, ngayagwala eCalifornia pho, ngayagwala ingcebezana, ngagwala nebota banginikela iaward. Ngabuya ngayagwala California, Charleston, Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, South Carolina, New Jersey, New Orleans, Texas.
Her biggest and most favorite painting was when she painted an entire BMW in 1991.
Ngile German, angithi kolo ngagwala ikolo eGerman. Ngabuya ngagwala eBochum ke.
Ikolo egwala eGerman le yini iBM?
Yeah. Nasi eboteni manje. Ngagwala eBochum apho. Kwaba endawana eziningi azikhohlwa yazi. Endawana eziningi azikhohlwa. Ziningi zona. Ngizikhohlwa eziningi.
Uzikhambe zonke mesigogo.
Yawo eziningi izikhohlwa.
And ukuzikhamba bekunjani gogo kemazweni angaphandle? Ungok Esther uzimbathela isindebele sakho ungafani nabo abantu receive nje
basithanda kangangani basithanda kangangani iskate nawe mbele iskate basithanda khulu nangikhambe nawe unamaroko bathi buyele emva wena mjama Esther yedwa.
Her former students are now teachers and they acknowledge Gok Esther's contribution. Gwezi Masango started painting when she was only 7 years old.
Egwaleni awufundi kuphela ukugwala, ufunda ukugwala, ufunda ukuhlonipha, ufunda nokuziphatha esichabeni. Begodi ufunda nelimi ekose uliberegise lokho na unabantu. Kuyihlonipho ke lokho. And into ye indigenous namkha into beyenziwa bogogo kade. Into ekhambako namkha livili liyadry. Into ekose uyithathe uyingezelele kabanye abantu. Njengami mina ngifundiswe ngumama Esther. Ngifundile ngathi ngingedwa wangifundisa nokuthi ngikhona ukuba nesibindi ngikhona ukuzijamela mina ngedwa njengoba sengibuya eItaly nase Switzerland alone without uma and ngikhambe naye kuma exhibition amanengi eCape Town nginaye.
Nakabinde Masango followed in her sister's footsteps after being taught by Gok Esther. She now has her own learners that she says are more fascinated by the bold and big colors.
Inengi labo bakarana nambala le ekhona like imbala ekhanyako like babuza ukuthi kungani like imbala le ikhanya le ingani le idark.
Isaac Mukwana has been managing Gok Esther's bookings for 6 years now, and he says Gok Esther's legacy will not die.
Tina, we are only the generation in Medicine somewhere esikwazakala ngaye. Thereafter Tina lakasifundisa khona lokasenzele khona sikhona ukumaintaina ukhona ukuya phambili ene ukusigcine somewhere else ngoba I'm not going to allow umuntu osuke lekudeni azongicabangela ukuthi imele enzeni ngeculture yami. No, Tina, the people who must take the responsibility ukuthi sigcina njani iculture nento gogo asifundisa yona than ukuthi sizocatshanga nje ngomunye umuntu eceleni o azosithengisela into yethu.
We ask Gok Esther how long it takes to finish up a painting.
Uqeda ngamalanga abalwako lezi ezincanezi. Ngamalanga abalwako. Ngoba awuphathi ruler ni. Wenza just ngehlanza. ndiwenze kabuthaka ukuhambe kabuthaka kuhambe kabuthaka ukuhambe kabuthaka ukuhambe kabuthaka ukuhambe kabuthaka toti ubuceda into yakho leyo.
Gog Esther started her own school when she came back from France and has been teaching local girls ever since. Although she doesn't have enough space, she persists to continue her heritage.
Ngakhambe ngena umzini omzana. Ngathi nginikelana abantwana benu, bomama nginikelana abantwana benu, nababuya esikolweni ngama-afternoon bazofundisa into. Bazofunda ugwala, bafunda ukuphothela ngoba ugwala lokho nokuphothela sele singafundisa abantwana uzokufa. Ngifuna bona kuphile kuthuthuke kuye phambili ngabantwana. Abomama banginikela. Abantwana baya nogwala. Kade isinto yanamhlanje. Ngibafundisile ama-students ami okuthoma sebababiza ngaphetsheya bayaziyela bayogwala benza njani. Ngiyajabula ngobanyana no uyathuthuka ngalokho kuyangijabulisa.
Gog Esther has got herself various awards honoring her contribution to indigenous art. Her most recent one being the Lifetime Achievement Award received at the SABC 2015. No words describe how proud we are as a nation to have a strong and proud woman like Esther Mahlangu.
On the 11th of November 2015, internationally renowned artist Esther Mahlangu will celebrate her 80th birthday with a solo exhibition titled Esther Mahlangu 80 at the UCT Sturm Museum in Cape Town. Pretty impressive, I must say, 8 years old and still going strong. Thank you for watching. You can interact with us via our social media. Our details are displayed at the bottom of your screen right there. From all of us here on Bophelong, it's a goodbye for now.